What would you think if the entire world lost a war against an alien race and the only way to survive was to become the star of a deadly reality TV show? A show that's looking to profit from your survival and suffering. Would you become an isolated schizo and attack any other person stuck in the same situation? Do you go the more humane route and form alliances to try and figure out a way to cheat the system so all of you can reach the end alive? Would you bring your cat? Whoa. Now imagine if this was all thanks to some intergalactic corpo fish people. That was more or less the premise of the series I'm going to be talking about today. That was recommended to me by a buddy of mine, Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's a series that takes the familiar fantasy formula, monsters invading the modern world, RPG mechanics, leveling up, and wraps it all in a dark humor where every fight, every death, and every terrible decision is being broadcast for the universal masses. And to no earthling surprise, one of the biggest stars of the show ends up being a pampered house cat. In this video, let's go over what the series is about, and at the end, I'll give my thoughts on it so far. No more stalling! This is your kind of content. I'd appreciate a like and a sub. Let's get it! Welcome to Seattle. 1 minute before and after, the Earth is suddenly turned into a planet-sized landing strip by an extraterrestrial force. The Earthlings that manage to keep their heads attached to their shoulders are given one chance to live. Enter a massive Diablo-style dungeon that doubles as the galaxy's version of the Survivor.
I don't know, is everybody pee in the pool?
No! And for shits and gigs, we're gonna gamify this nightmare that stands before our main characters. Millions watch as contestants fight monsters, complete quests, gain levels, collect loot, and die in spectacular fashion. One half of our dynamic duo is Carl, and he's going to enter the dungeon accompanied by his ex-girlfriend's award-winning cat and the yin to his yang. GC, BWR, NW, Princess Donut, the Queen, and Chunk. Together, they must descend an increasingly dangerous dungeon floor by floor while dealing with an out-of-pocket AI narrator, some wonderful interpretations of classic fantasy monsters, alien corporation executives looking for their next ratings gold, and an audience that cares more about entertainment than the lives of the entertainers. Driven by the goal and hope that after the final floor of the dungeon, they will get to live free from the chaos and carnage that currently surrounds them. As long as these fishy businessmen don't consider Donut too valuable of an asset, to the point where the money she brings in is just too good to let go. We know the power of cats on the internet. My thoughts. While Dungeon Crawler Carl is another take on some of the usual fantasy and RPG mechanics, the way in which the story is told and how the humor shapes every aspect of this series is what makes it stand out for me. This is a comical take on the style of fantasy stories where we bring fantasy monsters into the modern day, add a game element, and watch levels go up. But instead of just another lit RPG, Dungeon Crawler Carl is shown through the lens of when the frivolous is treated seriously. One example of this is when Carl and Donut are walking around looking for help and end up falling into a trap set by a couple of goblins. They're fooled by a big neon sign basically stating, "It's safe here." It wasn't safe there. The whole situation has this Acme energy mixed with blood and guts. Then you have the AI narrator, who's in charge of explaining items and abilities while crawling through the dungeon. But instead of the basic robotic descriptions, this AI is basically the unfiltered voice in your head, bringing to light the absurdity of the situation Carl and Donut find themselves in. During moments where Carl has to deal with the consequences of his actions, the AI is there to poke and prod at him like it's trying to drive him insane. What keeps me reading though is that the humor doesn't remove the seriousness of the situation. Even when the jokes get dark, that sense of reality is never lost. Instead, it reinforces the idea that these characters are going to die in a dungeon modeled like a video game. I also really enjoy how the dungeon mechanics are handled. Moments where we're told that bugs are being fixed in the dungeon open up opportunities for exploits and create interesting ways for Carl and Donut to approach the trials ahead. It's gonna take more than just bonking monsters on the dome long enough until they fall over. And the final point I would like to bring up is that I've been really enjoying the artwork of the webcomic. The art style does a great job of translating the emotions of the characters to the readers. The impact shots are imposing and the character designs give everyone a strong presence. All the panels are crisp, they're flashy, and all around a spectacle from one to the next. If you're looking for another power fantasy, this might not be the one. But if you're looking for a series that's equal parts hilarious, compelling, and surprisingly grounded, I think Dungeon Crawler Carl is well worth your time. What do you guys think? Is this a dungeon you plan on delving? Or are you a dogs only kind of person? Let me know in the comments. I'll catch you in the next one. Later!